Hi everyone, this is Connor and this is a video series on understanding health, wellness and well-being, where we aim to define these words accurately, understand why they're different and see the connections and correlations between health, wellness and well-being. In part 1 we covered what is health, and now we're moving on to part 2, which is taking a look at what is wellness. So let's get started. Now, just as we did with health, I've gone to 3 primary sources in an attempt to establish the clearest definitions possible of wellness. We're going to look at etymology, scientific literature, and any authorities or thought leaders who've set forth ideas on these words. Let's begin then with the etymology. According to some researchers, the first account of the word wellness dates back to the 1650s. However, in my research, I could not find any source on this, nor could I find any definition of wellness. Now, I looked at 2 different early modern English dictionaries. I looked at the Universal Etymological English Dictionary by Nathan Bailey, 1726 and 1775 editions, and I took a look at a dictionary of the English language by Samuel Johnson, the 1828 edition, and the words well and well-being were in those dictionaries, but not wellness. There is also no other record of the word wellness being used until the 1950s, and the first record of that is this book here called High Level Wellness. This book was written by Halbert Dunn, and he's known as the father of the wellness movement. He distinguished between good health, which he said was not being ill, and what he termed high-level wellness, which he defined as a condition of change in which the individual moves forward, climbing towards a higher potential of functioning. Now, we'll take a further look at this later on, and to summarize all of this so far, that's basically the information we have on the etymology on wellness. Unfortunately, it hasn't been very helpful. So let's move on to see what else we can find. The next place I looked was just general lexicology, and we'll start off here by just looking at the root of wellness. Well, we have 2 definitions. We have the adverb in a good or satisfactory way, and we have the adjective in good health, free or recovered from illness. And already we can see a lot of problems here. For one, many people use the word wellness as an extension of this root adjective well, which we see here is defined as in good health, free or recovered from illness. Now, we've already learned in part 1 of this series that when you define words in their synonyms, that falls prey to circular defining. Here's a quick diagram. Remember this diagram from part 1. This is obviously changed for wellness, and you can see here that we have this lexicographic circular defining again, where if health is defined as some variation of wellness and wellness is defined as some variation of health, we just go around in circles and we never actually get a clear definition of any of these words. So we have to make sure to avoid this. Both of these words need to have their own clear and concise definitions. Going back to this slide then, we're going to take a look at the second bullet point here. And wellness was formed by adding the suffix ness to the adjective well. And although it was formed like illness, by adding the suffix ness to an adjective, the Oxford English Dictionary describes wellness as rather a nonce word than of a settled status like illness, and a nonce word is one that is made up for a specific occasion but not expected to last. Now, this is also a problem because, as we'll learn later in this video, wellness is neither a state nor is it a specific occasion. Therefore, how this word was originally formed is contradictory to the actual meaning of wellness, and that's one of the major reasons why there's confusion around this word. Finally then, let's take a look at some dictionary definitions that we have in our modern lexicon. We'll start off with dictionary.com here, And well, already looking at this slide, you can probably see the problems that we're going to run into. And I've highlighted in bold the problem words. Dictionary.com defines wellness as the quality or state of being healthy in body and mind, especially as a result of deliberate effort. Merriam-Webster defines wellness as the quality or state of being in good health, especially as an actively sought goal. And Oxford English Dictionary describes wellness as the state of being in good health, especially as an actively pursued goal. Let's go ahead back to our diagram, and we can see this is the exact same problem that we encountered when establishing our definition of health. You cannot define these words as each other. They're completely different words with different meanings. And that's basically it. To summarize all of this then in terms of the lexicology and etymology of the word wellness, it's all very muddled right now. We didn't really learn much as we went through this. We just kind of learned that the definition of wellness right now is not clear or coherent. So let's move on to our next source of information then, which is taking a look at the scientific literature. And unfortunately, sorry to disappoint, but in the literature, it's not much better either. There's no scientific metrics of wellness, and there's little agreement on the precise meaning of wellness. In short, science has not told us what wellness is. And going through this research myself, I could list out all the different theories on wellness, but instead what I've done is I've just linked here and presented 2 papers that you can read yourself to give a good literary review on this topic, and I'll provide a reasonable overview if this is something that you want to explore in more depth. For now, I want to move on to the one area that I have gained some clarity in, and that's from our third source of information, which is our authorities and thought leaders. And I've chosen 2 thought leaders here who've helped me learn and understand the most about wellness, and they are Halbert Dunn and Dr. Teresa Nesbitt. Halbert Dunn we've discussed already, and he's considered the most important wellness thinker of the 20th century, and I believe that Dr. Teresa Nesbitt is the most important wellness thinker of the 21st century. And what I want to do is, separate to this video, I want to create some entire presentations discussing their specific ideas. However, since this is a short introduction, I'm going to provide just a few bullet points on some of their ideas. So here we go, straight into that. I'm just going to read these out. You can follow along. Wellness as a dynamic process maximizing an individual's potential. Wellness is our inborn resilience to stressors in our environment. The world presents many stressors, and our wellness ensures that we can deal with these stressors without becoming sick. The word for this is allostasis, the maintenance of physiological homeostasis through changing circumstances. Wellness is the ability to adapt. Wellness is something we have in our DNA that helps us deal with challenges from the environment. When you have a lot of wellness, then you are resilient. You are more resistant to becoming ill, or you are able to recover quickly and completely if you do get sick. The medical model is about fixing problems and symptoms. The wellness model is about activating our built-in wellness so everything goes smoothly. Our genetic wellness evolved within a specific environment. We have now changed that environment into the modern world. Examples: food, movement, social, sleep, and light have all undergone profound change, and this can make it more difficult to activate our innate wellness. We need to move away from talking about wellness factors, food, sleep, play, etc. as interventions. This is the sick medical/health model. We talk about things in terms of a recommended daily allowance. Instead, we need to look at how humans have evolved within their environment and where natural wellness emerges from that. We have run into trouble because we've strayed too far from our evolutionary biology. We know these factors are important, but we keep trying to make shortcuts to compensate. One area that I do recommend if you'd like to research this more is Ask Dr. Teresa podcast, episode 27, 28, and 29. And to wrap up then, I want to leave you with my current definition of wellness, which is as follows. Wellness is the genetic self-regulating mechanisms that enable every biological organism to function optimally in their natural environment. Now, reading that out, I don't expect you to fully understand what that statement means exactly. What we first need to do is we need to move on to part 3 of this series, which is what is well-being. Then we're going to put all these parts together: health, wellness, and well-being. And when we do that, this definition of wellness will make a lot more sense. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining me here today, and I hope to see you in part 3 where we take a look at well-being. Until then, take care and all the best.